Good morning, Drunken Mountain. It is Wednesday morning of week 10, which means we only have 4 weeks left until the playoffs begin. So, welcome to the first ever video edition of your playoff standings update. After a week 9 in which we had count them, 8 teams tied at 4-4, we finally have just the littlest bit of separation this week. We have a better idea of who's in the playoffs, who's out of the playoffs, but it is still a tight race on the points race as well as the win-loss column. So anything can happen. Let's get on to the current standings. All right, as we go through the standings here, I thought it'd be fun to include a picture of each of you. Some of you are much smarter than others and don't keep Facebook accounts. As we go through this video, you'll see why they're so smart. But as I was searching for you on the internet, it was interesting the most famous people that would pop up under a Google search that had your same last name. So I thought it'd be fun to include that along with the standings here. These are just a quick rundown of where everyone stands. In 12th place, Dale LeBlanc, a guy who has no known picture of himself on the internet. Smart guy. Who's the most famous LeBlanc? It's our friend, Maddie. And Dale, you're going to need some friends because right now, only 1 point from the record column, only 1 point from the points column. It's only 2 points total. And I think you got a nice hockey season to look forward to watching because fantasy football playoffs are not in your future. In 11th place, Kreidner. He's got 4 points from the record column, 2 points from the points column for a total of 6. The most famous Kreidner that I could find, it's the same guy, Jason Kreidner. Apparently, the town of Manhattan is constructing a statue down in Aggieville, most famous for single-handedly drinking Last Chance out of Bud Light. And in 2001, he banged the entire freshman class at Kansas State. Is that right? The entire freshman class? Even the fat ones? No. What about that girl in the wheelchair? Oh, okay. There it is. The entire freshman class. In 10th place, Jay James. He's got 4 points from the record column, 5 points from the points column, total of 9. Definitely a guy who is still in it. I'd say the top 10 guys are all very easily able to be within the playoffs or without, depending on how the next 4 weeks go. The most famous Janes out there, Julian Jaynes, an American psychologist known for his book, The Origin of Consciousness in the Breakdown of the Mind. What? Yeah, definitely not related to Jay. In 9th place, Tyson Osborne. He's got 4 points from the record column, 6 points from the points column for a total of 10. Now, the most famous Osborne, obviously, is Ozzy, but they spell their name differently. Tyson doesn't have an E on the end. So the most famous Osborne with no E, the guy who named the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Velociraptor. That's pretty cool. One to tell the kids. In 8th place, Kevin Cannon. 8.5 points from the record column, only 3 points from the points column. This is a guy who loses a couple games and he will easily fall outside the red line. The most famous Cannon, this guy. And boy, I would have to say they probably dress very similar. In 7th place, Cameron Ledwig. He's got 4 points from the record column. He's got 8 points from the points column, sitting at 12. He needs a few wins to ensure his safety above the red line. The most famous Ludwig, of course, is this guy. Famous for his 5th symphony, like Cam, who's famous for finishing 5th. In 6th place, it's Darren Sayer. He's got 8.5 points from the record column, 4 points from the points column for a total of 12.5. Look at this picture here of Darren. That's from winning the 2015 Hawaiian Merchandiser of the Year. I didn't even know he had a clubhouse to merchandise, but congratulations, Darren. The only other famous Sayer that we could find owns a pizza joint in New York City and is a superintendent of schools in Washington State. So congratulations to the Sayers in the world. In 5th place, Jared Shitter Shaw, 4 points from the record column. This is Mr. Unlucky. He's got 9 points from the points column, leading points against in our league by almost 100. Although Cam is starting to catch up fast and furious. He's got a total of 13 points.
And of course, the most famous Shaw we could find, this guy. That's right. Unless Jared starts outscoring some opponents, he's going to need a bigger boat.
All right, in 4th place, myself. I've got 8.5 points from the record column. I've got 10 points from the points column, giving me a total of 18.5. The most famous Carl I can find? This dude from Dazed and Confused. I kind of see the similarities. In 3rd place, Derek Carl Dawson. He is leading the league with 12 points from the record column, but it's a little bit of a sham because he's only got 7 from the points column. He's sitting at 19 total. The most famous Dawson? Easily this guy, Dudley. Similarities? I think so. In 2nd place, Andrew Donner. He's got 8.5 from the record column. He's got 11 from the points column, giving him a total of 19.5. The famous Donner? Yeah, there's only one. The Donner Party. They got hungry. They cooked up some of their friends. Bunch of weirdos, just like that weirdo up in Colorado. And in 1st place right now with 11 points from the record column, and he's leading our league in points right now, Brian Miller. Now, Miller, very common name, lots of famous people to choose from. How do we decide? I don't know. It could be this guy. It could be this guy. But I think my favorite is this guy. All right, everybody. Good luck in week 10. We'll come back next week with an updated playoff standings.